Welcome, GeoTrig. This is 8-3, Trigonometry. The essential question is, whom is Chief Sakatoa? Let's begin. So, when we start doing this trigonometry stuff, you really want to have a scientific or graphing calculator. There's just some functions that you just can't do by hand. So you want something that has the buttons like the sine, cosine, tangent, and this inverse sine, cosine, tangent. A lot of the scientific or graphing calculators will have them. Just make sure you have those buttons. Alright, so trigonometric ratios. Write these down. This is everything right here. So we have three vocab words: sine, cosine, and tangent. And these are three different ways to write ratios of the legs of the function. So the sine of angle A is, so sine of this angle right here is the opposite leg divided by the hypotenuse. So A divided by C. Cosine is the adjacent leg, so B over the hypotenuse C. And the tangent is the opposite leg, A, divided by the adjacent leg, B. So A divided by B. Another way we can abbreviate it is right here. Sine of A, so A, like if A was 45 or whatever degree that is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so these are things you got to know. And side note, what does sine of A over cosine of A simplify to? Well, if we thought about this, sine of A is opposite. That's like saying sine of A divided by cosine of A. And sine of A is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. And dividing by cosine of A, that's like multiplying by the inverse 1 over cosine of A. So it's like multiplying by cosine is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. And what cancels out? Hypotenuse and hypotenuse. So you simplify to opposite over adjacent. What's that? First person to post a comment gets extra credit. Next thing. So inverses. Inverses of sine, cosine, and tangent can be used to find the measure of an angle. So it's basically the opposite. So if I said sine of 45, angle 45 is square root of 2 over 2, then the inverse sine of square root of 2 over 2 equals 45. Just the opposite, or the inverse. Just doing it reverse. So let's try some examples. Pause the video. Alright, we've got to find the sine, cosine, tangent ratios for angle t. So that's the angle right here. Well, the sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse, so 8 over 17. The cosine is going to be, so cosine of t, sine of t. Cosine is going to be adjacent, so 15 over 17. And the tangent of t is going to be opposite over adjacent, so 8 over 15. There we go. Next example. Okay, real world example. Leaning Tower of Pisa was closed to the public due to safety. Opened after 10-year, blah, blah, blah. Engineers' efforts were successful. Tilt of 5 degrees, so 5 degrees right here, and result in a tilt of 5 degrees, reduced from 5.5. Suppose someone drops an object from the tower at a height of 150 feet. So this is 150 feet. How far from the base of the tower will the object land? Round to the nearest foot. So we're going from up here all the way down here. So we actually want to know this distance right here on that side. So if I'm going to say this is, we got this angle 5 degrees. We want to find the opposite side to that, and we have the adjacent. So I'm going to use a tangent. Tangent of 5 is going to equal, our unknown, let's call it x over opposite over 150. So another way to rewrite this is that we can multiply both sides by 150. And then what you get is 150 times tangent of 5 is going to equal x. Well, you got to plug it into the calculator. That's why I said you had to have these. So 15 times tangent of 5 is going to be, and you make sure it does it in decimal form, x is going to be about, and it says round to the nearest foot, it says 1.31 and change, so rounding to the nearest foot, x is going to equal 1 foot. And that's my answer. Next one. Pause the video. Okay, measure of angle x to the nearest degree. So here's measure of angle x. So I know that we have the opposite and the adjacent, so that's going to be sine of x equals 6 over 10. But I want to find x, so I have to do the inverse sine. So sine inverse sine of 6/10 is going to equal x. Well, plug that into a calculator here. Oh, nearest degree. And so we plug it into a calculator. I'm going to do inverse sine inverse sine on my calculator, 6 divided by 10. Sorry you can't see this. And what you're going to get is x equals 36.86, and rounding to the nearest degree, x equals 37 degrees. Let's try it on B. So measure of angle x is up here, and what you're going to get is that's going to be cosine because it's the adjacent side. So cosine of x equals 15 over 20. So do the inverse cosine of 15 over 20 is going to equal x. So if I plug that into my calculator, 15 divided by 20, it comes out to x is going to equal 41.4. So nearest degree is 41 degrees. And that's my answer. That's it.